r/AskReddit. What did you think you were really good at until you saw someone who was *ACTUALLY* really good at it? Table tennis. We had a table at work, and so I started playing anytime I could, with whoever I could. I'd played a little when I was a kid, so picked it back up quickly and started getting half decent. Eventually, I started playing with one coworker fairly regularly. He was good, no doubt. At first he was clearly just volleying with me, not actually putting it away when he'd get the chance. This made it more fun for me to be sure, and offered me great practice. Anyway, after about a year, I'd gotten to the point where I could cream everybody I'd play with ease, except him. And our games had elevated drastically, to the point of all out smashing the ball back and forth standing 10 feet away from the table. And I actually started winning some games every now and then. I was ecstatic. Well, one day, after losing a pretty heated game to me, and me being just a little bit pompous about it, my table tennis buddy / coworker pulls a total Inigo Montoya on me, flips the paddle from his left hand, which he 100% consistently used when playing against me, into his right and says to me, "You know I'm right-handed." Right? I did not. Nor did I ever win another game against him. I began piano lessons at an early age, 5, and my parents and my teacher made me believe I was some kind of fabulous child prodigy. I later found out I was merely a worm compared to real pianists. But I did enjoy playing the piano, so there's that. There's a ton of studies which dictate that praising your kids' hard work, praising your kids' skills, keeps them practicing, and doesn't make them believe they are somehow way better than others due to some innate ability, etc. or something. Okay, bye. Yes, so they learn the key to success is in the effort and work getting there, not the talent alone. That way they apply the same mindset to everything and can achieve in things they are not naturally talented in. At one point I thought I was pretty savvy in Excel, since I was the best at it out of the people I knew. Well, then I meet someone who really knew how to use Excel and realize that I really only knew the basics. Don't forget the soft skills side of this. Being able to make something quickly that does what you or someone else needs it to do. Yes, there are times where you need to flex the VBA and deep Excel skill. But honestly, most of the time, you just need to manipulate some data in some reasonably straightforward way and present it in a readable fashion. There is so much value in that. This happened to me. I applied for a job with Excel proficiency as a requirement. When the guy that got hired rolled out his stuff, I was shocked. Never knew about half of what he made Excel do. Then I started googling and found out there are way more uses for Excel than I ever knew. 8 ball and 9 ball. I had a table at home and would practice while watching TV. No one could beat me. In college I'd play a $1 a ball. Everyone owed me money. Then I played someone that regularly entered tournaments. I was lucky if I got to shoot because he was running the table every game. Friends of mine had a pool table in their apartment and thought they were pretty good. They were out at a bar with tables and there was an older guy playing alone, but only using one arm to shoot. They asked him why and he said, "It's too easy with both arms," and they watched him run the table twice without missing a shot. The guy who was basically my billiards coach, neither of us are pro, but you wouldn't want to bet us as a team, regularly plays me one-handed. Honestly, it's more fun for us both, and he usually wins. Guy's a virtuoso with a Q. He also probably saved my life by giving me a hobby and friendship in a dark time, so there that. I've come to the realization that I'm very mediocre at a lot of things. I can do most anything, just not well. Versatility is useful though, and everything seems to level up at similar rates. Stick with lots of stuff and you can be pretty good, not great at everything. Thank you for this. Another thing I'm just mediocre at, and I should really get better at, is selling myself. Playing guitar. I'm good enough to impress normal people, but I could never reach the level of a professional musician. Having played guitar for over 20 years and performing both as a hobby and as a profession at different times in my life, I'll let you in on a secret. There is no best guitar player. Guitar can be approached from a million angles with a million different goals in mind. No two guitar players have the same approach. What makes a great guitar player is someone who can entertain people. If you can stay in time, have decent tone, and play good music, people will love you. If you are super fast and technical, no one will care, except other guitar players. If being super fast and technical is your goal, that's fine. Go for it. But don't expect anyone to care except other guitarists. Have great tone and play good songs with a solid band. People will think you're amazing. Even if you're playing simple stuff. Bonus points if you can play just enough lead licks for non-guitarists to think you can really wail. There are tons and tons of professional guitarists making a living from it who aren't as good as you. Trust me. Edit. Okay, well, I can't respond to everyone, so I'm gonna just do a quick edit here. First, I found all the technical guitar players on Reddit. Yes, guys, I know that there are non-guitarists who enjoy Steve Vai and Dragon Force and Yngwie Malmsteen. Yes, I'm aware that death metal and flamenco guitar are both highly demanding styles and lots of people enjoy them. Yes, I used a little hyperbole in saying no one cares but other guitarists. Settle down. Technical shredders are great. I love them, but they play to a much more narrow audience than most major musical genres. Let's be realistic here. Second, I did not mean to imply that you should just go out and play Wonderwall and Last Dance with Mary Jane because people like it and that'll make you a good guitarist. My point was that there are lots of ways to be good, and people will, in general. I know there are exceptions. Please don't tell me about all of them. Respond more positively to whatever music you are playing if you have passion and soul in it. Aspiring guitarists of Reddit, my advice to you is to play what you love and put your soul into it. Express yourself through your instrument. Don't just mechanically repeat the notes. Play the damned guitar. Let it be your voice. Let it say the things you can't get your mouth to say. Anyways, here's Wonderwall. Programming. Most of my fellow students were pretty bad at it. Then at my first job I pair programmed with a guy that had been doing it for 40 years. They placed you with the old timer so you could learn. Driving. Everyone thinks they're a good driver. Sit along with a professional driver as they go through a course and then try to do the same. So humbling. As a professional driver, I can't tell you how many times people in high school jabbed and poked at me to street race against them. I always turned it down because you spend your childhood at a racetrack and you learn how dangerous an idiot behind the wheel can be. Finally, one summer I got fed up with it and invited the usual suspects to a local karting track that had kart rentals available. I told them if they beat me, I'd cover their rentals for the night, not cheap, and buy them dinner on the drive back. They were obviously thrilled to take the bet. Before the 8 or so minute race had ended, I had lapped them both twice and smashed the monthly track record by a good 2 seconds. Not going to lie, it felt really good. My dad likes gardening and loves his plumeria. He has about 30. He recently found a local plumeria club on Facebook and went to a meetup. He was the only one there with less than 100. My mother has stopped complaining about him having too many plumeria. All the gardeners were flexing that day. Mostly they were happy he wasn't begging for free plants GBH. Okay, I'll jump in. In my late 20s I had never lost a single game of Scrabble in my life. I have a pretty large vocabulary and a talent for pattern matching, so I was always able to come up with very long words and find high bonuses to place them on. The true Scrabble players are already laughing at me. Well, I was looking for something to do with my time and decided to try the local Scrabble club. I'll cut to the chase. I didn't win a single game. I didn't even present a challenge to a single player there. Several of them got annoyed at having to match up with someone as bad at Scrabble as me. I left that night deeply humiliated, but amazed. I never went back. What I learned that night is that championship Scrabble players do not bother hunting for 150-point mega score words. No, they kick your ass by placing 3 tiles that cross-connect to form 5 different words, 3 of which are 2-letter words, and all of which somehow share the same triple word score tile, even though only 2 words can possibly use it. And they score like 226 points by laying down those 3 tiles. It's incredible. It's as much art as science. So I learned a lot about humility from that one. Scrabble isn't a word game, it's an area control game that happens to use letters as troops. I thought I was pretty good at Tetris. People who saw me play were quite impressed. Then I started playing Tetris 99. Turns out I'm not that good. Holy same, I played on a computer website and got a high score of 3 million, then looked up the high score on the website, it was like 500 million, still pretty good at Tetris, not pro level though. 3 million is still really good, if you mean the official Tetris website. RIP Tetris with friends. Ping pong. I made the mistake of playing an old guy that hangs out at one of the bars and he fucking wrecked me. It wasn't even close. He returned all of my best serves effortless and would put the craziest spin on all of his shots. He gave me good advice afterwards and told me I play too fast for my own good. I bought him a drink and shamefully went back to my friends. When I studied in China the first time I had a host family, my host mom would decimate me while smoking a cigarette and chatting to her friends. I can see the picture in my head. Fighting. I won a shit ton of amateur MMA bouts and a few professional, but then I met someone who beat the fucking brakes off of me for like 3 rounds and then choked my ass out. Turns out, I'm pretty okay at it, but I'm no world champion lol. I was on the wrestling team at a small high school. I was the captain of the team my senior year and was voted MVP. When I went to college, this Filipino guy on my floor says, "Hey, my brother wrestles. Do you want to wrestle him?" He wasn't too big, so I said okay. Word travels fast. The whole floor comes and watches. This guy was so fast, it was over in seconds. We did 3 matches and the whole thing lasted like 1 minute. My dad wrestled at our Undead Gable, but had to quit in the middle of his sophomore year because of a neck injury. By his senior year he had transferred to an NAIA college and entered an exhibition tournament and went 2 weight classes up because he wanted to make things interesting, at least considering he was probably better than most of the other people there. He ended up winning the whole tournament at the higher weight without a point being scored on him. He chalks it up to Gable being no fucking joke as a coach, because you don't usually understand how much higher the bar can be raised until someone forces you to raise it. He's 53 now and can still beat my ass wrestling with no effort. Thanks a lot, Dan Gable. Thanks for watching. Up, go to Reddit. Try like and subscribe button if it still works.